throughout the last year?
So last year we had our get together. Which month was it, Maynard? September. So we had our night sit for September, and who's that? Ah! And so anyway,
My camera's broken.
yeah, camera's broken. We were doing a night sit, and I was standing in front of the logs, the pile of wood pile, and I could clearly see Con 2 show up, and then eventually Bowtree, and I was trying to help some other people see it while I was rotating in and out playing music around the perimeter. And I did not know that Maynard set his camera up and was shooting, and he's going to explain the process and what he found, and he showed it to me the next day, which was totally a mind blower. So why don't you take that away, Maynard?
Okay, yeah, this is called Star Trails, and it's a program that is used by photographers primarily for taking the streaks of light or the stars as they go overhead. They can either do streaks or they can do individual stars, so they don't make a streak, so just see the stars moving in unison as though time was being sped up in your eyeball and not streaking. So you have several different ways of doing it. So what happens is this will take in 2 hours and 45 minutes roughly, it will take 990 photos, and each one of them varies in duration of time, and I have no control over the time. It can be five seconds one time, it can be 15 seconds the next, sometimes it goes all the way up to 41 seconds on it, and it's really bizarre because it takes short ones to begin with and it's longer at the end, which you think is just opposite of what it should be. But anyway, it stacks them up, and then it goes to 24 frames per second, so it's in movie format. And that's where you get, what was it, 24,000 some odd pictures, more or less, because of the frames per second. That's the only thing that jumps it all up. But basically it's 990 photos overlapped and put into format. So anyway, what happens is you can see people moving, and you can see how they build up on themselves, especially that one right there, walking up and then going around the corner. And then, believe it or not, she actually crawls into her bag there, the sleeping bag here. And this was actually, the night went on, and Matt was, if you notice anything changing up there?
Yeah.
What color?
The red.
The red, okay. And if you notice, there's someone sitting next to it. Do you see the person sitting next to it? That was Randy, I forget Randy's last name.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Randy Young. He wasn't here in September.
Randy and his wife.
From Minnesota.
From Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes, Elaine.
so anyway, you see that go through. And what happens?
And he was standing there, by the way. He wasn't sitting. He was standing.
Well, actually, he was sitting in that chair right here.
No.
He stands up, but he sits down. There's actually a double image of his head on it that occurs.
Okay.
So this is like almost a tad over a quarter of the way through, and they appear. When we say they, there's actually 2 or 3 of them in the left-hand corner. And Matt, during his presentation, would always point over to the right-hand side and say, "They're right next to you, Randy." And Randy's sitting there going, "They are?" "Okay, where are they?" "They're right next to you, Randy." "Oh, all right, if you say so." And it wasn't until the next morning that this was revealed that it did occur. And then the red lines, and what happened was I pulled my camera all the way back and I shoved it into a pile of stinging nettles off to the side because I didn't want anyone to hit the tripod walking by in the dark. And so what happened is I ended up shooting through grass stems. And the grass stems show up red because they're being backlit by the moon. This type of photography is actually the same Kelvin as the sun is, 550 Kelvin, so that's why it's true to nature to color.
So Maynard, this was shot in the pitch dark of night, yet it looks like it's in the daylight. Because why?
Because the moon is transmitting roughly 0.14% of the sun
Right.
when it goes across.
It was a full moon that night. It was,
Was
very
it a
bright.
full moon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was full or waxing or waning at
But
that
the
moment.
point is, the camera can take pictures in the pitch darkened night and stack it on top and make it, because of the moonlight, make it look like it's daylight.
Yeah, and you can
Right.
see the beams, you know, just like you would see when a plane flies over through the clouds, you can see the shadow of the contrail or the. This is basically the same as coming through the canopy, and you can see the moonbeams shooting down and across.
Why do the Xanue show up in red?
Pardon?
How do the Xanue show up in red?
That's something in progress.
We're learning.
We're learning. All right. So on that one,
So that's not something you did,
Or the program.
changed on that
I
color?
really tricked you, didn't I? I didn't. No. In fact, after everyone cleaned up the house and left, just Matt and Cynthia and I were here by ourselves, and I said I have something to show you. I didn't want to make a presentation at the moment because it was still too doggone early. So even let's say tonight, if I catch something that's of significance, I may not say a thing on it because, and it takes me a while sometimes to figure things out
Yeah.
on it, and
We're in the data collection phase.
yes. Anyway, why there's so many of them up here in copies is because I was trying different enhancements on it, and this one here turned out the best that we just watched. And then I went ahead and took a GIF, a graphic interface, and that's this one here. This was a lousy program, that's why you see these splotches here, but you can see Randy's neck, head, hat, his red coat there. And that's what was formed. I have it looping. Now,
How many are there? Two?
I saw two, but Maynard hypothesizes there's more than
there's
two.
three. I would claim three. And the reason why is, let me get off of this. Whoops. Wait, let me
You
get
almost see their hearts. There's
Chakras.
like 3 hearts.
Chakras. Yeah.
head, crown.
Yeah.
Chakra is the strongest. And what color is a chakra?
It's red.
Red or orange. Deep burning fire, orange. You asked me about the color.
Okay.
And then on down. So, whoops, I got it. I hit the wrong button. So let me give this to Cynthia. If you want to loop it, well, I gotta pull up something else on the computer here.
What do we need to do?
No, it will, just so it will keep looping, and when it stops, you just hit the button again.
Okay.
Alright, now I gotta fire up the old lady here. Sorry for not having everything right on the nose, but kind of give you can see what we're referring to. If they're happening in stages, left to right, ahead. The two bright, for lack of a better word, chakras, or in the chest, the solar plexus. And then why I say a third is way down here at the bottom.
Okay. So
That's
maybe
too
where it's
intense.
sitting.
Yeah.
If you were to think in terms, if you were to relate a human or an entity having the same arms, legs, body, trunk energy beings, if you want to take that's the case, then, and we are supposedly ourselves, if you want to say that we are actually energy beings locked in a body, a water bag on this planet, they would have the same signature as as if you go back in history, if you go back in the chakras, the history of chakras and stuff, meridians of power or energy, they follow the same pattern. That's purely speculation, but if you got a better story, let us know. All right, we can't close any eyes to any. In other words, you can't say, "Oh, that's false." Well, you better tell me why, and you better prove. Come up with something better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because. Because what? Then we play the childish game. Because. Why? Because. Why? On it. Well, come up with something better. Help us.
Well, how come?
Yeah.
That was better. I'm a stinker.
Bear with me. What I'm pulling up now is one that this is the same thing, except that how did I shut it down? Except that I forgot I had it on this computer. This computer was thrown into the dustbin, and I forgot all about it until we came here, and I said, "Oh shoot!" And it gives you a little better view of what you see up there right now. You can see how this was also, you got to remember at that time I was using the same camera that I'm using now. I've since learned some features on the camera I didn't realize were there before, and so I was able to pull more information out of it. Virtually any photo that you take can be improved upon because photos do not give a true representation of what the eye is capable of seeing on it. And here it is again. And I think it's actually 12 or 13 frames. Alright, that does it. I'm going to control them here now. As you can see, it gives you a little more detail that you didn't see before. That's the first head and chakra, where it's like a cascade from top to bottom. Then there's the second, that's again, head, chakra down below. Now you could say possibly there's a mirror image occurring, much like say a mirage. I can't discount it, but I can't prove it either.
Not the same size, not the same shape.
Yeah, you could almost say same size, same shape. Well, guess what?
Not, it's not.
It's not, but still, you're the same size and I'm the same shape, even though you're taller and I'm smaller, but we both hold the same, what's that, energy field, if you want,
Yeah.
And we can't, what is that, his arm off to the side, who knows? That could be someone else there. Keep on, now there's another bright spot that it shows up. Another one, but then that bright all the way down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there could be four there.
Yep. You're right. It could be little ones.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean even, you said they're there, like Matt said, he only saw two. He was looking up high.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't looking down.
He wasn't looking down low.
Yeah.
Or concentrating down low. And I caught it through the bushes. This is a fern, so the fern's not that high. So it was down low. And you can see it keeps building down below. And and even here it kind of hops back up. Well, no, that's actually a sunbeam hitting more plants because you can see the green in it.
Moonbeam.
A moonbeam hitting more plants, filling it in. And more moonbeams, and then that's it.
And they didn't move.
Do they move very often, Matt?
No, they hold their position.
They'll appear and disappear, but they hold their position. They're not parading around like we do all over the kitchen. and all over the living room and bumping into each other and saying, excuse me, on it. They're stationary. Why? I'm open for, you know,
They're a little more organized, we're just chaos.
yeah, we're chaos.
Well, and the young ones do move around a little bit more than the adults,
Okay, see now that's,
but not a lot more, not like our young ones would.
okay. Now this was done last September, so less than a year ago. 9 months?
Yep, 9 months ago. Yep.
Alright, so we just kinda kept this on the back burner. On it, I haven't put this anywhere and I don't plan on putting it anywhere. Alright, so what happened last night? Oh, you stupid thing. Come on. You stupid. Oh, no, it fell out. Oh, I just lost scale. Alright, oh well, I'm gonna play with you. Come on, open up. Okay, I need my glasses. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 different events that were reported. The first 3, which is AVI, 300, 3390, no, 3300, 3390, 3900, oh no, excuse me, 12, and 41. Don't ask me how they come up with these number systems. That's beyond my pay grade. Now here you can see something, a blue. These 3 were all taken as I was bugging you from behind. You know, every now and then I'd be like a mother hen over on at the truck, or later. These 2 were taken initially at the truck, and then I came in closer and I shot one there. Let me see. I did one. Actually, I did one there. One was a screw up, and the other one was like, so this one was 2 hours and 45 minutes. One was just a fraction of time, and the other one was 2 hours and 45 minutes. What we're speculating right now is within a certain radius of the epicenter of them, cameras will not record it. Because this is, oh. Yeah, see, you're looking at this bottom here. For some reason, that was on there for 2 hours, and this is what I recorded.
Huh.
Not even a second. Even though I was sat there and I watched it. It got the first photo, and I watched it and listened to it as it kept going through the rest of the sequence, and yet here's the file, nothing happened.
Is that a red dot
Stars
down
look
there?
cool.
Those are known as pixel drops,
Okay.
and when you're using a high density sensor, sometimes you have little red pixel drops that will occur on it. So that it's just an inherent problem that we all have to live with. Alright. Okay, this was number 200. Oops, these screen sizes are, I gotta work on the edges. Okay.
There's a deer down there.
Okay, that was 200. So let's look at this one. And now, this is also, if people know what an iOS is, sensitivity. Normally cameras shoot roughly about 100 to 400 is the scale. That's normal for sunlight. This one goes to 100,240. So it can really pick up in super dark areas. But as you can see, this was supposed to be for, this one was an hour and a half, and look, I only recorded, and you can see people moving, if you look, with their lamps and stuff, but it shut off on me. Now, I didn't see it shut off, it just gave me this when I sat there for an hour and a half trying to get it. Alright, and you can see this is called noise. Here you can see the red again. In other words, the sensors are straining so hard that they actually create their own noise. So sometimes, even with yourself looking in the dark, your eyes are creating noise. And you're seeing things, but it's just the noise. Your sensors are trying to pull something out so you grasp on it. Doesn't mean it's there. It's just like a ringing in your ear when it's super quiet. And you know that ringing isn't in nature. Your sensor is its boundaries are being stretched. Okay. So we did 200, we did 900, and this was actually the first one, this one was 2 hours and, 2 hours, 45 minutes. Less than a second. Or just a fraction over a second. And you can see there's movement.
Yeah.
And you can see a little red spot. Now that red spot in the upper left-hand corner there, or edge, is something. But it shut down. Now the difference that I started with when I started shooting this was, I was much closer than I was the year before. I was right behind the chairs, or right on the thing. I wasn't way back in a corner. And that one, the one I did the year before, is I just kind of said, I'm giving up, I'm setting it over here, I'm turning it on, and I'm walking, I'm going to go to sleep. And I didn't see it till the next morning. And so basically the same thing happened last night. I made several runs, nothing was happening, I didn't know what happened until the next morning when I opened everything up. So anyway, I started it with the first three shots, and then at the end of the night, and this was what time did you go to bed roughly? 2 o'clock in the morning?
1.
1:20.
Okay, 1 o'clock. And I said, you know what? I still have a lot of power in my battery unit. I said, I'm just going to take a scenery shot. And the scenery shot was, I was just going to take advantage of the trails, the capabilities of the, when I said 1 second, actually it's more than 1 second. Here you can see it's 29 seconds. But that's actually 2 hours and 45 minutes because it's all compressed. I'm sorry. So even that 1 second or 3 seconds is actually maybe 15 or a half hour. All right. So finally, I pulled the camera all the way back, up on the gravel, actually beyond the distance that I did 9 months ago. And I said, well, we'll just make a pretty little picture. And here you can see why Star Trails gets its name. So here you're seeing a meteorite. And here you saw a plane go by, you saw red flashing in it. And be danged if I know what the hell that thing is. It looks like a star break on a mirror, on the windshield of your house, your car. Let me see, come on. There it is, right there. It holds its, 2 of them, I didn't notice that. They hold their position. What it is a mystery. Matt, I didn't notice that till now.
Really? I didn't notice it.
There's actually 3 of them.
Could they become
You
these
saw the
straight
one, they were in the diagonal line?
Yeah, there was 3 of them.
Yeah. Now, normally a diagonal line like this can be a refraction. This could be the main one, and these are the refractions, one here and one up here.
There's another one down to the left.
Is there another one?
Yep.
Okay, we're getting better eyeballs.
Okay, and the V to the far left. There. No, there it is.
Oh, right
Straight
here.
up, right there.
You're right. That's not a pixel drop. Well, it could be a pixel drop, but this one looks like it could be a pixel drop, but not these guys. Maybe it's our friends from another world sitting in their little UFO and just hanging out. You got a better explanation? I'm welcome. I'm open. Who knows? We're just speculating right now. We're trying to form, give knowledge a chance to catch up. And sharing with it. Knowledge hoarded is knowledge lost. And it's not knowledge, it's learning. And people say, oh gee, what about all these little spots over here that appear? Well, that's the stars going behind the trees, as we heard, someone asking already. Yeah, and so that's standard. So you can sit here and just keep going, and you'll find more and more things, and you'll keep questioning. Why it's much brighter is the sun is coming up. Why it looks like crap, as far as color is concerned, when it could be better, it's being shot in RAW. And RAW is designed to have tons of information, but you have to run it through programs to pull out and clean up the image and give you better color rendering. And I'm a video guy, I'm a photo guy, I'm not a video guy. So someone with a bigger paycheck and more skill is necessary. If anything more is going to come out of this. There are several, at least I know 2 people in which I can give this to. And in fact, look, you've heard red shift and blue shift in stars. Can you see the red shift and blue shift?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's necessarily moving back and forth. That could also be the chemical composition of the star. You have to give it to astronomers because they're looking at charts and graphs and data readouts, and it doesn't necessarily mean visual like we're looking at it now. You think statisticians have a problem with a lot of numbers? Or let's say they fly by Pluto, guess what? That information is going to keep them busy for the next 20, 30, 40 years.
Wow.
Because all the information that's been downloaded, they just go through it with a superfine pulse. It's no different than this one. And they just work away, and then they find more and more information. They say, oh my gosh, there's water at the base, or there's ammonia oceans over here. It takes time. So anyway, I was kind of disappointed. And I said, well, I got one more little tool that I can play with, and that is this little guy over here. Ooh, I put him away. I gotta dig him up. Where is he? I gotta find a program here. This is a HDR photo and video program. And where is he? And this is, like I said, this was a program that a computer that I just threw away to the side. Oh, here it is. Photo and video HDR. This is available only through Apple, and it's just obscure. If you go to the App Store, you'll find it if you have an Apple product. Laptop, not phone. Everyone wants to do everything on the damn phone. No, you cannot do everything on the damn phone. And not everything can be done on an iPad either. You actually have to go to a Apple Pro, laptop or an actual desk unit to get some material. And that's the case of this one here. And this one isn't professional. This is a knock around, play around one. Now, if I really wanted to, I could go to Photoshop and what's called Premiere for Video. I think it's Premiere for Video. Pay $25 a month to rent it, or $900 and some odd a year. And I'd have to learn an all new system, and that doesn't mean I know what the hell I'm doing after 5 years of working. That's why I said you have to give it to someone who knows what the hell they're doing. And so now we're going to take that file, the last one, and we'll drop it into this program. Does anyone know what HDR is?
Definition, resolution.
Yeah. What they do is they pull the total qualities out of. You got to think of a sensor or your JPEG. JPEG, let's think in terms of a multi-layer cake. It's a different layer of information under each one. If you saw Contact, like they said, they ripped it all apart and they said, let's move it in different dimensions around and pull all this crap. Well, a lot of that was fabricated on it. But you got, and that's why I say you have to think in terms of layers of information all the way down. Let's say JPEG has 3 layers or 4 layers, whereas RAW has like 12 layers. And when they crap it, they put it all together, it looks like goulash. And that's why you have programs that will pull out and only take the information it needs to build up the image correctly for the eyes to make out of it. That's not saying what, especially in astronomy, they use X-rays, they use infrared, they use ultraviolet, and then they build up images and they make you a beautiful picture created by false colors. And you say, gee, that's a beautiful universe, but that's not how it looks. That's how it's presented to you, so you can have a representation of what is out there. All right. So yes, we're being fed a lie, but for our sake, that we can understand and grasp what's happening. Now you got to bear with me. I have to do some tweaking here. I didn't copy this, and I should have earlier. Why aren't you playing with me? There we go. Kind of give you an idea. This is just a penny ante. I think this costs $4 for this program. Maybe it was 14, I forget. It's been so long. Kind of give you an idea, these are all the different sliders and controls of contrast, colors, depth, grains, sharpness, contrast, smoothing, global contrast, HDR settings, structures, details. Confusing as all hell. All right, and this is the master control in the sense that whatever I dial in down here, this is the original. Whatever I dial in down here, I control how much they all are blended together. So I'm just going to go up just a little bit, and you'll notice that the stars and things will take different muddled or different shades. Okay. We'll bring up the contrast. Now sometimes here you'll see like you don't see much detail in here right now, but if I just bring up the local contrast, now you can see green in here, right? You can see a little bit of green popping up. I can change the modes on it and I start pulling stuff out of it. Let me kind of give you an eye. Okay. Now you see things opening up within the trees. Now you can see the actual structures of the trees underneath there. In this case, now you say, well, wait a minute. This is just as dark as this is. Why is this opened up? Two trees. One, two. Two more trees over here, actually. I think one you can't really see that good. What do you think's in the middle here?
Woodpile.
Right. Why is it glowing? Right. So you say, okay then. And you can see little red spots pick up. These are like little pixel drops going. But you say, okay, why is this glowing in here? I was